Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. Welcome to another week in my sewing room. My name's Diane. I'm recording this on the 19th of September, and if you live in the Northern Hemisphere you will have seen, hopefully, the spectacular harvest moon that's been in the sky. We've had some clear nights, so we've had a brilliant observation of it. I've had the binoculars out, and I don't know about you, but it really affects my personality, my temperament. I haven't been able to settle. I think it's the thought that winter is coming, and I've just been flitting all over the place. I've got my winter woolies out and I've been tidying up the house. I've been washing quilts and getting them dried, ready for the winter. I've been in the garden. I mean, they do say that a full moon is the best time to plant or move things in the garden. Don't go out in the full moon to do it, but apparently the gravitational pull from the moon is at its greatest now, and so all of the water tables is risen so that the water, the moisture in the earth, is closer to the surface. And so if you're moving shrubs around or perennials or planting bulbs, spring bulbs, which I've been doing all week, apparently it's good for the root system, and that's the science behind it. I'm not very scientific, but I think it can't do any harm, can it? And we've had some rain, so the soil was quite moist and it's quite warm outside still, so it's very good for moving everything. So this isn't a gardening video. I told you I'm just flitting all over. Okay, what I'm going to do is grab a coffee. It's a chatty video this week, and if you want to chat about quilts and things I have done in my sewing room, grab yourself a drink, get comfy. I'll be back in a minute. So let's get back to quilting. If you saw last week's video, it was about the Aphrodite flimsy, and I finished the video by showing you the backing fabric I'd bought. Some K-facet onion rings in monochrome, very nice, sateen, lovely and soft. So I bought that, and I was just about to make a sandwich and quilt it. That's how I ended it. And so the quilt was still pinned on the wall, and then when I came in the next morning, it should be the never-ending story of this quilt. I looked at her left ear and the side panel there, and I just thought that I would remove a block. So I unpicked all that and I'll show you what I did. And so you can see that little block that I've removed. So that's the part of the quilt that I took it from. That's the block I've taken out, and I'll sew up the replacement block and I'll show you what that looks like. And that's the new block. So I just felt it needed something, rather than the small 3-inch squares, it just needed something a little bit more substantial. So I made that variable star. Still use the orange. I wanted to have that orange in that placement. Well, how much difference does that really make? Do you think it was worth the effort? I don't really know. It looked fine really, as it was. I sometimes think when I'm making a quilt and I'm really enjoying it, I just don't want the process to end. Like I say, I didn't have a deadline, so I didn't really have to finish it in a hurry, but it was time. I just couldn't keep on picking forever. And so that was it. Finish them. She is 66 inches square, 158 centimetres. I've quilted her using a cross hatch stitch, and the backing and the binding are in the K-facet monochrome onion rings, and that's the wide back, so there's no seams in this one. Well, she did take quite a while to finish, but I think in the end it was worth it. So now I'm going to take some photographs and I will notify the customer and I'll pop it in my Etsy shop. Like I say, she didn't need to take that long really to finish. That was down to me. I just kept going. I might do another sampler soon because I've really enjoyed doing that. So I did message my customer and show her an image of it. She's very pleased with it, and we've agreed a time that I will put that in my shop so that she can buy it when she's ready. Now, Etsy shop. I've got to say that some of you lovely viewers in in Canada and America have wanted to buy my quilts and have been unable to do so. And one of the lovely ladies that might be watching this today, hi, from Calgary in Canada, she went to great lengths to try and get one of my quilts, and she even contacted Sherry McGill on Lessons Learned and asked about the process of buying and selling on Etsy, because she's not very familiar with it, this potential customer in Calgary. And she sent some things back to me, some screenshots of how to alter my shop so that you could buy in those countries. And what appears to be happening is everything's going smoothly until you get to the checkout, and then it says this seller does not sell in those countries. Well, I have sold in the past, quite a while back, but I have sold in America and Australia before, and so there hasn't been an issue about proceeding. Somebody in the UK mentioned if you change the dispatch date instead of 1 to 2 days to 1 day, then the doors will open for the buyers in America and Australia and Canada. So I did that, but I've seen since that my quilts have gone in the basket and then it's failed. And so what I'm going to do is open a Folksy shop, and I'll tell you all about that in a moment. That noise was my husband coming home, so I'm just going to say hi to him and I'll get back to you after another cup of coffee. Sorry about that. He's home early because England are playing Australia at cricket. We like to watch the cricket and we like to play Australia, especially if we win. I don't know what the result's going to be. Be an interesting game. That's why we like watching England and Australia. So I'll be listening to cricket today while I am sewing. Told you I was flitting all over the place. Folksy. So I'm not going to completely close my Etsy shop. I've set everything up. So what I am going to do is transfer all of my shop over to Folksy. And it takes a few days for the data to be processed. Someone at Folksy does all that. I don't have to. I'm hoping it's as simple as it sounds. So I'm going to try that later. And so to qualify to open a Folksy shop, you have to be a handmade seller and you have to be based in the UK. So you can't be a global maker, but you can be a global seller. So I'm hoping that anyone that wants to buy my quilts that are outside of the UK, there shouldn't be such a problem. I'm going to leave my Etsy shop open because once I've transferred all this data over of the quilts that are in there at the moment, then when my customer's ready for the face quilt, I'll put that back in the Etsy shop. And I might make smaller things, smaller items, and put those in my Etsy shop. So that's what I'm thinking about there. To be honest, Folksy is a fragment of the size of Etsy, but I'm not getting viewers like I used to. And so I've got some figures here. So for the end of year 2021, total views I had in my shop was 8,086. For 2022, it was 3,659. And for 2023, it was 1,930. So it's progressively getting smaller, the amount of views, but also the sales are dropping as well. So if I'm making goods like quilts, if I'm going to continue making them, then I need an outlet. So I do have Project Linus, this little log cabin on the wall, that's a Project Linus. But if I want to buy lots of beautiful material and have that luxury of going to a shop and picking up and choosing fabric for myself to make a quilt that I want to be creative with, then I need to have an income to support that hobby. I can still make quilts for Project Linus. They do donate fabric and wadding and batting and backing, so I can continue doing what I do, which I love to do, but I just won't have that lovely feel of going out to a shop and choosing what you want, or going online and choosing. So that's the reason why I like to make a quilt and to sell it. I sell it just at minimum cost, really, just to recoup the fabric cost so I can go and buy more. So hopefully if I go over to Folksy, those people outside of the UK that might want to buy a quilt can, and we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know how things go, but at the moment I'm really sorry that you're having problems outside of the UK with Etsy. I just don't know. Localization, that's all that keeps coming back to me. Localization. And I do realise that although the visits aren't many, there are some loyal followers through Etsy, and I thank you, if you're watching this, for looking at my shop regularly, and some of you have bought multiple times, so I thank you for that as well. So what I am going to do is leave the Etsy shop open, like I say, perhaps put smaller items in, but it's also a gateway for people to contact me, a familiar route. So this face quilt, that came as a message through Etsy, and I've also had another request through Etsy to make a chandelier quilt, so I am going to make that. I really enjoyed making a chandelier quilt before, so that will be my next project after I finish this. And I think now I will show you the fabric that I've been buying. There's some things that I bought on a whim, but they were such bargains, or I really like them, so I've bought some new fabric, so I'll show you what they are. So I'll start with my most recent acquisitions. So you all know that I love Bethany Salt's fabrics, and she's had a new selection come out. It's called Dragonflies, and I bought 3 fat quarter bundles. There's 5 fabric ranges in each bundle. So there's this lovely soft blue with a bright yellow and pink. Then there's a very pale lilac with florals in the same blues and navy blue dragonflies. And then there's a deeper lilac background with pinks and yellows and blue florals and touches of navy again. And then the showstopper is a navy blue background with this lovely orange and green. And then there's a lovely orange floral small print for the background. So I thought that would be the basis or part of the chandelier quilt, and I also bought some fabric to go with that. So some purple, I will use that sparingly because it's quite a vibrant purple, and then some yellow, small touches of that again because it's so vibrant, and then a lovely tan stroke orange that complements the whole bundle really. So that will be the basis. There'll be a white background on the chandelier quilt. The lady that wants the chandelier quilt sent me a picture of a plate with those colours in. She said really just nice and bright and no brown, not like this one. There's a lot of brown in this one, but yes, so no brown. Apart from that, she's okay for me to just play. So that's that quilt. And then I bought 5 meters of this solid black. It's really nice quality. I think it was 158 grams a square meter, and that was from Abercan Fabrics, and it was Maisie earlier in the year that said, have you looked there? So I have been looking, and that was great value. I think it was round about the £30 mark for 5 meters, so that's really good value. And this I paid full price for. It's a jelly roll, Robert Kaufman, and I have an idea for making a modern art quilt with those colours. So that's another quilt that I'll get back to you one day with. My husband's at the door again. And now I'm going to move on to some real bargains. Rainbow Fabrics in the UK. I don't know if they ship worldwide, but it's worth having a look if they do, because I've got some real bargains. Like I say, I think I paid about £17-18, round about that. And it was wide back, 108 inches, and it was 2.5 meters for this, a sateen. So I've backed the Aphrodite quilt in this. It said it was a defect, and I suppose you're taking a chance with it, but I can't find any defect at all in any of it. There's no misprint or there's no holes, there's nothing at all. So real bargain. I suppose you are keeping everything crossed if you do buy a defect, but that was fine, no problems at all. And with that one I bought a metre of these two. So this one is called Beans, Felicity Fabrics, and again in the bargain, $4.99 for a metre. So I bought that, and this lovely lime green and yellow, like a chartreuse I suppose, really nice and bright, and again $4.99 a metre. So I didn't buy very much of that, I just wanted to see what the quality was like, but it's fine, it's really nice. So I have an idea that I'd like to make a tulip quilt, and so I've been looking for a really nice green for the back, and again I got that one. This is a Robert Kaufman, and I bought 3 meters of this, and it's blues and greens, teals with a gold fleck, and I think I might use this as leaves in my tulip quilt, maybe. So that, and I also bought, again, can't remember the prices of these. If I can find them, I will put them on the screen. Another Robert Kaufman, and this one is called Lovely Day, and it's all hearts. And this is the fabric that I used for the Aphrodite mouth when I was looking for, you know, quite a striking red. And so I've got that. Earlier in this video, I did say, after I've made the Aphrodite quilt, I was keen to make another sampler, and I've been thinking about making a red, white and blue quilt. I've never made a red, white and blue quilt, and I would really like to make one of those. And I've got this white background with these lovely birds on, and they're red, there's red and white and blue in that. There is a little touch of like a green and teal, but I think that would be okay. And I do think that I could use this red heart with that, the light red. So if I find a nice blue, that would make a nice red and white and blue quilt. I've got to stop again, he's here again. Sorry about that. That's why I record when he's not in the house. Anyway, the last piece is this lovely, I bought this half price. I think that was about £8, something like that. And I think there's over a metre there, about 1.5 metres, I think. And it's called Sweet William by the Crafty Lass, 100% organic cotton. It's really lovely, lovely fabric. But I think, yes, it's Sweet William, but it does look like poppies. And I have been thinking about making a poppy quilt. So I'm not going to get that done by October on Remembrance Day, but that's in my stash now. So I have bought, oh my goodness me, look at all this. Oh, do you know, there's a lot of weight there. Quite a lot of fabric, so quite a lot of quilts. And like I say, I'm going to make the chandelier quilt next. So I don't think there's anything else for this week. It was the finishing of the Aphrodite, which I've shared, and the fabric haul, which I've shared, and changes to Etsy. Not completely closed, but I will put a message out if you're on my community. I will put a message on there that I've opened the Folksy shop, so and a link if I can, for anyone that's interested. And talking of my lovely YouTube community, on the 16th of September, it's 2 years since I opened this channel, and we're very small. We don't seem to be growing very big, but I don't mind that. We've got some nice people that comment, and it's nice really to see the familiar names that comment, and so we can chat to one another. I know that some of you read each other's comments too, So that's lovely. YouTube are asking me to do boot camps and things. I don't think this takes me a long time to record these. I know you probably think they're not very professional, but it does take me a while, and so I'm not sure really about these boot camps. If any of you know anything about them, I've been invited. Say it's a special invite, I'm not so sure, but anyway, so I have been invited, and YouTube said to, share all the figures of my subscribers and things like that. But you can see that for yourself. So just thank you for everybody that is part of our community. And like I say, I apologise for this video. Blame it on the full moon. Oh, I'll be glad when it's a new moon, and hopefully I can just sort of get back to normal. And if I'm not, if this is it for the rest of the year, well, perhaps you need more than a coffee to watch me. Thank you very much for your company. I'm going to shut down now, because what with me and my husband flitting in and out, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.